Hello, everybody. Obviously, my name is Frank Voltattorni. I am a campus compact AmeriCorps Vista, serving at Lewis University in Romeoville, Illinois, and I work primarily with the Fairmont community. So I will preface this whole presentation with saying I apologize in advance for if I start speaking too fast. I had some struggles getting this under 10 minutes, but I think I'll be able to get most of the major highlights and points across to you all throughout this presentation. So hopefully you've all got a chance to kind of look at this poster, but if you haven't, we'll kind of dive a little bit deeper into it throughout this conversation. So to give a little background on the Fairmont community, the Fairmont community is a small, unincorporated community located about 5–10 minutes from Lewis University. And due to disinvestment and a variety of issues, they are currently facing some struggles and some obstacles that Lewis University and myself are aiding them in overcoming. They have a wealth of issues that they are faced with, but the ones that we kind of focus on tackling are sustainability issues and after school programming. But we did spend a lot of time kind of responding to community identified priorities, especially during the time of the pandemic. But all that we'll talk about a little bit more as we get going. So let's hop into it. So the goal of this project this year was to continue working to build a strong collaborative relationship between Lewis University and the Fairmont community. Obviously, this is my second year serving in the same role I did last year. So a lot of the work that we wanted to do was to expand the programs we already had going, but to also build new ones, and not just new ones that came to our minds, but new ones that the community identified as priorities to help them achieve their goals. So I really thought a good way to kind of break down my year was to go through kind of the VAD and the objectives in it and to explain them a little bit more in depth. So for VAD Objective 1, it was to build on the work of the previous year and utilize the Fairmont Lewis Coalition to strengthen communication between Lewis University and the Fairmont community. So a lot of my work in year one was just forming the Fairmont Lewis Coalition, and we did that successfully with over 44 different members, ranging from community leaders to faculty and staff from Lewis, faculty and staff from uh, Fairmont Elementary School, along with a variety of other church officials and government officials. We built this coalition, and it's something I'm very proud of. Uh, Despite not being able to meet in person this year because of COVID, we were still able to work on expanding the coalition and assuring its sustainability, which we'll get to a little later. But communication was kept pretty solid this year, and I think the Fairmont Lewis Coalition is in a position to continue without Vista or myself, because everyone kind of knows their role, and we've built a pretty solid group of student leaders to continue on my work. So jumping to VAD Objective 2, we want to identify priorities for stabilizing and sustaining engagement between Lewis University and the Fairmont community. So COVID-19 definitely, as I'm sure it did with all of us, presented some challenges. Um, Mainly the biggest challenge for us, and for myself in particular, was Lewis University did not allow students to do off-campus community engaged learning for obvious reasons. So we had to be, pretty creative. And one of the ways that we did this was by listening to the Fairmont community, specifically the Fairmont School, who was expressing needs and helping to mentor and tutor students who spoke English as a second language. So partnering with our early language learners class at Lewis University, we were able both semesters to have students plug into different time slots in which they would help to tutor and mentor students who didn't exactly speak English as a first language. Jumping to that objective 3, um, the goal was to assist and engage in Lewis University student leaders in sustaining initiatives established in the Fairmont community. And the way I did this really was by building the Fairmont Self team. So the SELF program at Lewis University is an acronym for Community Engaged Learning Facilitators. So this is where student leaders kind of take up on the role in assisting students, faculty, and community partners in doing successful and good community engaged learning. So I was able to work with 2 SELFs this semester who were just absolutely great and just as passionate as I am about social justice. And with the help of them, I was able to build a pretty solid foundation to continue the Fairmont Self Team program. The idea is to kind of build a cycle of selves in which they commit to a year-long of service with overlapping service times. So the idea is that there'll be second semester self working with a first semester self every year, helping to pass down knowledge and other sustainability type initiatives. But also along with that, we wanted to assure that they would be able to do this. So I built and worked on for quite a while what I've been calling a syllabus for each self to use each year that goes week by week to properly go over all the different ways we partner, how to reach certain people, which way is the best to communicate, and also discussing ideas like asset mapping, relationship building, and other social justice initiatives. And I really am certain that this program, along with the help of my supervisor, Laura, will continue to thrive in the future. So that objective 4 was to expand sustainability and food access initiatives in Fairmont. We were able to, alongside the Peace Studies capstone class and BTEC, a classroom to table program, we were able to obtain 2 educational hydroponic shelving units to be put in at Fairmont School. The goal of this was to have healthy food options for the students there, but also for them to learn a little bit about farming and the future of it, really. So I think this will have a huge impact. We also have a micro pantry awareness project that we completed in which students will participate in the art project, and their pieces of art will be voted on by faculty from Fairmont Elementary, and the winners would have their art displayed on the micro pantry located outside of Fairmont School. Since this micro pantry is used quite often, um, it is filled quite often. But also with that, not a lot of people are aware of it, or they might be embarrassed to go up to the micro pantry and take food from it. So this project will give everybody a reason to go to the pantry without feeling super, embarrassed or anything. We also were able to get a bunch of support for all the community gardens through Will County We Will Grow program and ShareFest. Uh, we were able to obtain all of the soil, over 50 bags of compost and soil for the gardens, along with them donating all the vegetables we need for the garden, which is huge. So that partnership will continue in the future. Also, we wanted to sustain and expand previously established school programming and explore the new development of new opportunities. This year, we were able to get Play for Rings signed up at Lewis's Innovation Hub. Normally, this would cost small businesses a fair amount of money to have full access to Lewis University resources like students, internet, and all the different other assets we have. Fortunately, Play for Rings was able to receive all of this for free, and I think it's going to be huge for them because it will help them with marketing, data collection, and all the things expressed to us by the program. After the peanut is well donated to the hydroponic units and will help to continue maintaining and building upon those projects. Then I mentioned the early language stuff a little earlier. So the statistics this year were a lot different and a lot lower from last year, mainly because we couldn't have students volunteering in the community. But importantly, I think it's fair to say that even though our students weren't able to participate in-person community engaged learning, we maintained those partnerships through communication and constant check-ins to assure that these partnerships will continue once the pandemic is over. And I also thought a fair point to bring up was the in-kind donations we got. We were able to have chairs, tables, desks delivered to the Fairmont Community Partnership Group's new office building. We received all the vegetables and soil, as I mentioned earlier. And along with that, we also received smaller donations in other areas. So I take that as an accomplishment for sure. Of course, some challenges were faced, honestly, but most were resolved. Nothing too out of line, the typical challenges. And with support from my supervisor and my peers, most were resolved. However, COVID-19, obviously, it's a kind of theme of this project, as I'm sure it is for a lot of us. We were just offering support in any way we could, responding effectively to community identified priorities. There were some moves more towards direct service to help get the community gardens up and running, since it was vital that these programs that supply the pantries in Fairmont continue so that the Fairmont citizens have access to healthy food, just like any other community might have. So again, I'm going a little bit over our time, and I apologize for that. Um, so hopping into future plans and sustainability, as I mentioned before, we built that cycle of selves. There will be multiple Fairmont-based selves in the future that will allow for the pass down of information and responsibilities. Through the tools that I have created to assure sustainability, I think that this project and this particular cycle of cells will have a huge impact and continue to thrive and be something that lasts throughout the years to come. And I think it will, beyond that, give students from Lewis a really great opportunity for some professional development skills, along with building, their ability to do asset mapping, drive through windshield surveys, and relationship building and other ideas like that. So real quick, I'd just like to thank Laura Wilmartina. She has been amazing and such a huge inspiration to me. Without her, I don't know where I would really be today. So thank you so much, Laura. Delinda Herod, too. She's like the best ever. The president of the Fairmont Community Partnership Group. And through her, none of this would have happened. I would never be able to hear the voices of the community without hearing hers first. So thank you, Delinda. And of course, Campus Compact and the AmeriCorps and everyone involved. Thank you all so much. It's been such an awesome 2 years. Um, this was such a great experience for me. I'll miss being here, but I'm thankful for all that I've learned, and I'm thankful for all the great people I've met along the way.